What is going on, guys? It is Ty the Jeep Guy, and in this video I'm going to tell you all about the radio that I believe is the best option if you want to upgrade to a double din in your Jeep Cherokee. So stick around, I'll show a little bit of an overview of putting it in the Jeep, and then I'll do a 1-year review of this thing and show you a little bit about the features. So stay tuned and let's get started. And I've gotten Judith. It's an old Pioneer. It's not the greatest thing in the world. So the rest of this video is going to be based around changing out the radio in Judith. It's an older Pioneer, has served me extremely well. Now, if you have a Cherokee, you know that if you want Apple CarPlay, you need to go double din. And to go double din, you get a new tombstone. This guy right here, which mine is so nice and pretty. So needless to say, I don't want to replace it. So I've been doing some research and I had a couple options. Joying makes a radio. There's another company based off of that, looks like a ripoff of the Joying, that makes a radio. And then I found the Boss 7-inch, don't know what it's called, but it's a radio, and it does the same thing that the Joying does. It's got like a pivot point, you can adjust it. It's got a single din base, so I'm gonna put that in, and then I'll have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which I'm really stoked for because then I can run Gaia onto there. I mainly use the BE7ACP maps. That's the one that pretty much everybody uses here in the hills, but I would like to have some way to check like private property owners and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. The only speed bump here is I installed this radio myself 5 years ago. I was very much the future Ty. We'll worry about how I did this. I can't remember if I soldered everything correctly or if I just butt connected it or how I did it. So when we take this radio out, we'll see if we've got a nice, smooth, easy day ahead of us, if past Ty set future Ty up, or we might have a long day. So let's get started. So, looks like past Ty hooked us up and used a harness. This plugs into the factory side of things, and all I'm going to do is take this apart because it looks like I made it myself and make it work for the new one. Yay. Okay, so within my mess of wiring, which by the way, thank you, past Ty, this is really easy. I've got everything soldered up, except for the stuff I'm not going to use. This radio is capable to have a backup camera, front camera, hook up your subwoofer, all that fun stuff, which is all this stuff here. This is going to be our ground, which I've got all set up already. So I'm going to go fit this and test the radio and make sure it turns on. Okay, everything's hooked up how I think it should be. I mean, everything's wired up. I got my ground and everything. I just haven't hooked up everything else. So let's see if it turns on. That's a good sign, right? Now, overall, after having this radio for a year, I really think that this is an awesome option and probably the best option if you've got an early 2000s Jeep or, well, vehicle in general. If you have a single din vehicle and you're looking for a radio to add Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and just have a better all upgrade, make it look a little bit more modern, this is definitely the best option. You can't beat the price. I mean, $200 gets you a backup camera, the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, touchscreen, and you don't have to make any modifications. You just have to install it using your factory harness and the harness that's provided with the radio. Now, because this was a single din base, I was able to keep the wood grain radio bezel. I'm pretty partial to it, but there is other options. You can use the Metra double din radio bezel that's going to allow you to fit a double din, but I just like the look of this that much more. Now let's go ahead and talk about the radio itself. Like I said in the intro, I've had this thing for about a year and I've gotten to know it pretty dang well. So we'll go ahead and hit the home screen and let's go ahead and talk about it a little bit more. So this is what the home screen looks like. You've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you've got the radio, your Bluetooth, AV in, your USB streaming, your cameras, front or rear. You can hook up a front or rear camera. I don't have them hooked up. And then your audio settings, which there is tons of customization there. And then you've got the settings for the radio, which once again, there's a ton of customization to this. Now, my favorite part of this radio is gotta be Android Auto. To be able to have that in this vehicle is a really big deal to me. I like to get out and explore, and being able to just pull up Android Auto, and then let's see here, we'll go to Gaia GPS, and I've got Gaia Maps right there. I can overlay our motor vehicle use map onto this system. I can also overlay private property lines, all that fun stuff as well. Now, while having Gaia is awesome, I still rely on Avenza Maps, and running this system to where I can have Gaia here and Avenza Maps here is awesome. I've got topo, I can check out where some mines are. It's just a really nice setup having both of these things here, and I ran the wiring up over the dash to my RAM mount so I can just plug my phone in right there. Now, with the Gaia interface, it's actually really easy to use. I can still go in here, drop waypoints, save pins. I can record my tracks. While a lot of these features like dropping a pin and recording your GPS tracks are really quick to do just right here, I can still go to the menu. I can search for different items that are on my waypoints lists here. And I can still do all the other things, and I can still show what I want on that map. So that alone is what made it extremely worth it to me. Now, it also has a really good sound system. With my old radio, I wasn't able to use the speakers that are actually in the back of the Jeep, so it's just the front two speakers working. With this, I've been able to adjust everything, including those rear speakers, and I think it sounds pretty good.
Never made it. S10 Blazer never made it. Only Jeep Cherokee is the triple award-winning 4x4.
Now, I know with my friend Mitch, he had a couple issues with his where he has LED headlights, and whenever he turns his headlights on, the screen kind of freaks out because it has a dimming mode whenever it senses your headlights are on. I haven't had that issue, and I also have LED headlights on Judith. So whenever I turn on my headlights, the radio dims itself to a night mode. That way it's not just blinding you, which it still kind of does, but that's all right. Overall, in my opinion, for having this radio now for a year and really getting to know it, I think this is the best radio that you can get for your early 2000s rig, or just a single DIN option that gives you Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Well, the snow is really starting to come down. I actually had to get into a little valley here to get out of the wind, so I can tell you guys that I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, the radio itself, it's pretty dang cost effective. It was super easy to install, and the use of it's really easy to install. You get an offline map system to be able to use on your radio, so Gaia or OnX both work on there, and it is just awesome to have. It makes the vehicle feel 10 years newer. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next adventure. You already know the drill. Get on out there and keep on Jeeping on.